All right, guys. The mic is hot. We are live with another one. Welcome to the channel. This is OE MMA TV. I'm your host, OE. Like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. It takes minimal effort to give me the thumbs up, so you might as well do it. Thank you for supporting independent MMA media, guys. And like I always say, this is your channel. The only channel where the fans come first, not last. All right, guys. Look, guys. Topic of discussion today is Bryan Battles. Unfortunately, Bryan Battles, his career in the UFC has come to an end, guys. Excuse me. His career in the UFC has come to an end, guys. Okay? He will not be fighting in the UFC anymore. He has gotten released from the UFC. And I did want to talk about it a little. I did want to talk about this just a little bit. Bryan Battles does come from a great background. Okay? He has a winning record in the UFC. Phenomenal fighter. When he does make it to the octagon, he's a phenomenal fighter. Can't take anything away from Battles. All right, he brings something that a lot of fighters don't bring, and that's entertainment. The guy is really entertaining when he enters the octagon. His fights are really fun. And overall, I mean, Battles is a good mixed martial arts fighter, to be honest with you. But unfortunately, we are here. We are here, and it's all due because of weight issues. We have to remember, guys, Bryan Battles, he used to weigh 300 pounds, guys. Okay, Bryan Battles, he used to fight at heavyweight or light heavyweight, whatever it is, but he used to fight at heavyweight. He used to be a big boy. This is a sad story. Honestly, this is a sad story for Bryan Battles. I like the guy. I really wanted to see him shine in the UFC. He had a set of skills, man, that I really enjoyed watching, to be real. I really enjoyed watching Bryan Battles, but unfortunately now we are here. He has gotten cut by the UFC due to weight issues and not making weight for his fights. I guess the UFC called it. You know? And how you doing, Victor? Victoria. How are you doing, Victoria? Blessings to you. Welcome to your chat. Welcome to your channel. Okay? Like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Support the community. Okay? I appreciate you guys. Hey, how you doing? It says fist and claw. Can you beat Ronda Rousey? Probably not. You know what I mean? Probably not. Ronda Rousey will probably take me down. She won't ground and pound me. But I'll definitely be hoping she would. But she'll probably submit me or something. I don't know. High level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But I'll definitely see the armbar coming. That's for damn sure. But guys, I mean, the UFC had they had to call it, unfortunately. They had to call it. And now Bryan Battles finds himself out of the UFC. I wonder where he's gonna, fight. What other organization is he gonna fight in? You know what I mean? Is there going to be any other opportunities for him to fight in other organizations as well? I would like to see Bryan Battles rebound and possibly, fight, maybe 2 to 3 times out of the organization of the UFC and then possibly get re-signed to the UFC. But I don't know. I have no idea. That's easier said than done, guys. It really is. But you train wrestling. Oh, my gosh. I haven't trained wrestling in a long, long time, guys. Okay? In a long time, guys. All right? Woo! Let me tell you. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's like riding a bike. It really is. But still, you know what I mean? It's not a set of skills that I use every day, right? But I'll definitely use it if I needed to, Do you agree that Jon Jones is duck? Fist and claw? I don't agree with that. You know what I mean? I don't agree that Jon Jones was ducking Tom Aspinall. I just really believe that Tom Aspinall just doesn't have the resume for Jon Jones. Point blank, period. Unfortunately, that heavyweight division is in shambles. Okay? If you're not new to the channel, then you already know my opinion about the heavyweight division. Okay? It's in shambles. Tom Aspinall has to fight Cyril Gane. Guys, Cyril Gane for the heavyweight strap. What type of nonsense is this? Honestly, there is nobody there for Tom Aspinall to build his resume off of. And unfortunately, Jon Jones wanted no part of that just crumbling division. Okay? Speaking facts. Let me see. Shervin G said, hi, how you doing? How you doing? Welcome to your chat. Welcome to your channel. Connor Steiner says, if you do a backflip, I will donate $5,000. You know what I mean? If I do a backflip, well, look, $5,000, I say the only way I'm gonna believe that, okay, is if you deposit half. Give me half, and then I'll do the backflip. Okay? If you could give me half, I'll do the backflip. And then regardless, hey, at least I get something, right? I get something out of it. All right? So if you want to see a backflip and you want to see me do a backflip, give me half and I'll do the backflip. And then give me the other half once I break my neck. All right, I need you to pay the bills, okay? I need you to pay the bills while I'm in the hospital. James Dillon, welcome. Welcome back to your chat. Welcome back to your channel, James Dillon. How you doing? Chimaev's first title defense 2027. James Dillon, actually, Chimaev wanted to fight in October in Abu Dhabi. Okay? He told Dana White, if you really want somebody to fight on that Abu Dhabi card and to headline it, I'm your champion to headline that card. Unfortunately, Dana White had other plans, and now we have Anthony Hernandez versus Rainer de Ritter, okay, in October for UFC Fight Night Vancouver. And one of these guys most likely are going to fight Chimaev in 2026. Mark my words, guys. I believe Chimaev will be the very first card on that Paramount deal. Mark my words. That very first card in 2026, I believe Chimaev would headline that first card with Paramount. Mark my words, okay? Save this, clip it, mark it. Let me see. What do you Fist and Claw says, what do you think who is gonna win on the fight? Dustin Poirier, McGregor, Max Holloway versus Francis Ngannou. I think Francis Ngannou can win. I think Francis Ngannou can win. Connor Steiner says, come on, don't be scared. What did I tell you? What did I tell you, Connor? Give me half. Okay? I'll do the backflip and then give me the other half after I break my neck. I told you, okay? I like your humor, man. Well, thank you, Connor. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate it. Guys, like and subscribe if you are new to the channel, okay? It takes minimal effort to give me the thumbs up, so you might as well do it, guys, all right? Support the community. What are you guys doing out here? Fist and Claw says, who is next for Topuria? Well, guys, it has to be Arman Tsarukyan. All right, that's the next fight to make. Unfortunately, the UFC do want to make, you know, exciting fights, you know, the ones that sell out pay-per-view, so to speak. But I do not want to see Paddy Dabadi versus Ilia Topuria. I really want to see the #1 pound-for-pound fighter fight the champion, and that is Arman Tsarukyan versus Ilia Topuria. The UFC needs to book it. Dana White needs to book it, okay? Sean Shelby and Mick Maynard need to do us a favor, okay? And book the damn shit already. Atrocious. Atrocious. Fist and Claw says, no way. Well, all right, since you asked the question, then who do you think Ilia Topuria should fight next? Okay, Fist and Claw, I bet you're going to say Paddy Dabadi. Okay, 9 out of 10 times, everybody says Paddy Dabadi because they are casuals. Okay, prove me wrong right now. Go ahead. Let me know. Okay? But anyways, guys, topic of discussion is Bryan Battles. And unfortunately, Bryan Battles finds himself out of the UFC. And, you know, this community got the inside scoop, guys. This community has the inside scoop, if you're not mistaken, okay? There's a subscriber in this community. His name is Jonathan. Okay, he did give us the inside scoop of what was going on with Bryan Battles. Okay. Unfortunately, the week of his UFC fight night, or the week of UFC 319, excuse me, the week of UFC 319, Bryan Battles was seen, okay, he was seen in multiple restaurants eating like an animal, eating chicken fingers, eating fries. Okay, that's the real reason why Bryan Battles couldn't make weight for UFC 319, and unfortunately, he has been cut by the UFC. Okay, well deserved, to be honest with you. Okay, let me read some of these comments. Did you find Chimaev fight entertaining, and who do you think can beat Chimaev? I did find that Chimaev fight really, really entertaining. I'm just being real with you. It got to a point where, if you watch my UFC fight predictions, I already knew Chimaev was going to do that to DDP. Excuse me. I already knew Chimaev was going to do that to DDP. Now, once Chimaev went in there and took him down and started just basically beating him up like an animal and literally sliced through his guard like a knife through butter, I knew right away it was over for DDP. Over. So it was very entertaining to watch that. Okay. And it got to a point, like I said, it got to a point where I actually started rooting for DDP. I'm like, come on, DDP. You can stop these takedowns. Come on, DDP. You can do this. And then it got to the point where I'm like, damn, this guy, DDP, he must never train wrestling or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, because, oh my gosh, how do you get caught in crucifixes in multiple rounds? I just don't know. But going back to your original question as well, who is next for Chimaev? You know, I honestly think it's going to be either Reina de Ridder or Anthony Hernandez. Okay, I have no faith that Anthony Hernandez beats Reina de Ridder, to be honest with you. Because if you look at Anthony Hernandez's past losses, I mean, guys, if you're losing against Kevin Holland, I have no faith in you. Okay, Kevin Holland is a dead body. All right, and if you're losing against dead bodies, I have no faith in you, Anthony Hernandez. Okay, now when it comes to Reina de Ridder, can he compete against Chimaev and actually beat Chimaev? Hell no. I don't see that happening. I actually see finishes happening for Chimaev in the near future, okay? Point blank, period. And don't forget about Caio Pahayo, or Buhuha, whatever his name is, Caio. Okay, he's fighting Imrov. Guys, I have no faith that Caio will beat Imrov. If he does beat Imrov, I will be highly surprised, because Caio's best win is Jared Cannonier, guys. Point blank, period, facts. Okay? All right, let me read some of these comments. Arman and Gaethje will fight, and winner will get title shot. You're fucking out of control, Fist and Claw. You are out of control. You think Justin Gaethje deserves to fight against the #1 contender in that division when Justin Gaethje actually had a hiatus, okay? Came back to fight Rafael Fiziev on 1 week notice, okay? And not only that, but he struggled to actually beat and compete against Rafael Fiziev. Yes, he beat Rafael Fiziev, but barely. Barely, guy. Arguably, Rafael Fiziev looked very good against Justin Gaethje on a week notice. Let me tell you that. Okay? Justin Gaethje actually needs to retire before he gets some more CTE. Okay? Justin Gaethje is a walking CTE patient. I do not want to see Justin Gaethje fight Arman Tsarukyan. Okay? Atrocious. Atrocious. You shut up. Come give. People out here are crazy. Adriana Fortes says hi. How you doing, Adriana Fortes? Welcome to your channel. Welcome to your chat. Hopefully you're having a great week. And you already know, like and subscribe, guys, if you are new to the channel. Okay? Support the community. Like I always say, guys, this is your channel. I am just the pilot. Okay? The only channel where the fans come first, not last. All right? Excuse me, guys. Gorndolf says Holloway versus Arman. No, guys, that fight is not going to happen, okay? Well, if you guys really want to, you want me to play matchmakers right now? What we need to do is, I already told you guys, Ilia Topuria versus Arman, okay? And then I want to see Michael Chandler versus Dan Hooker. I want to see Dan Hooker come back, okay? And beat Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler should have never beaten Dan Hooker in the first place. So I want Dan Hooker to avenge that loss and send Michael Chandler packing. Okay? He said, dude never ever sleeps on Rafael. Dude, I remember watching him versus Mocano. Dude, he is dangerous. Look, guys, are you talking about Rafael Fiziev? I do understand Rafael is nasty. I do believe that Rafael is a high level competitor in that division. Okay, ain't nobody sleeping on Rafael. Nobody's sleeping on Rafael. But what I'm saying is, Justin Gaethje didn't look impressive against him. Justin Gaethje hasn't done anything significant, okay, as of recent, to actually give me an inkling in my mind that says, holy shit, Justin Gaethje is next for the title shot. No fucking way. Let me see. I want to see Gaethje versus Hooker. That's a good fight. Justin Gaethje versus Hooker. That's a good fight. But I'd rather watch Hooker versus Michael Chandler. I really want Hooker to avenge that loss. I really do. He deserves it. The UFC needs to do them a favor. I think that and Holloway versus Arman, winner of both those fights, face off for number one contender spots. I don't see why Arman has to compete in general. I don't see why Arman has to compete against anyone. I think Arman Tsarukyan deserves a title shot against Ilia Topuria, and the UFC needs to book it very, very soon. Okay? I am outraged at the fact that it hasn't been booked. Okay? Or just winner of Holloway Arman gets title shot. I don't like that fight. I don't like the fight with Holloway versus Arman. I think that's hell no. Hell no. That doesn't even make sense. Honestly, that does not even make sense in my mind, to be real. This is how lightweight should go down. Arman versus Ilia. There we go. I like that. Okay. Max versus the winner of Oliveira and Fiziev. Ooh, that's a nice one. I like that one too. And Gaethje versus Paddy. Oh, I like that. I like it. And Dariush versus Hooker. Damn. You know what? I can't disagree with you on anything that you just said. I like all those fights. Okay, especially with the first one that you said, Arman versus Ilia. That's a perfect fight. That's a fight that needs to be made. Okay, and the Oliveira versus Fiziev fight, that sounds fun. And then Max fights the winner of those. Hey, that sounds awesome. I like it. I'm sold. Book it. Let's go. Gornfield Hollow is not going to fight this year. If it happens, then it will be after a long time. So when will you see title fight? I hear you. Gornfield, he says, would Max face the winner of Oliveira Fiziev since Dana isn't going to let Arman fight for the title? Max is next most deserving guy. You really think Dana White is not going to let Arman Tsarukyan fight for the title? You guys really think that? Because if Dana White really stops Arman Tsarukyan from getting that title, that's atrocious. That's ridiculous. That's all the words that I want to say right now, but I won't. Okay? I think this whole situation is ridiculous, to be honest with you. Okay? Khabib Nurmagomedov pulled out of 5 fights. 5 fights, guys! 5! Damn near 6 almost. The undefeated Khabib Nurmagomedov. And because Arman Tsarukyan pulls out of 1 fight, now he's not deserving to fight for the title. How the fuck does that make sense? Make it make sense in my mind, guys. Because it's not making sense. I need to sit down with Sean Shelby, Mick Maynard, and Dana White and the UFC right now. We need to have a stern conversation about this. Okay? A stern conversation. Let me read some of these comments. Why will Max face the winner of Oliveira Fiziev since then? Oh, I read that. Gornfield says, all I'm doing is taking Dana at face value, and that's pretty much what Dana has said. I agree. Armin is number 1 and should get the title. Holloway is number 2 contender. Really? I mean, I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't want to see Ilia Topuria versus Max. I already saw that. And I understand it was in a lighter weight division, but I already saw it. Okay? Don't want to see it. Goodbye. Coffee MC, welcome back to your chat. Welcome back to your channel. How you doing, man? Let me see. The reason Alareza, I'm pronouncing it wrong. Alareza says the reason I didn't put Max in with anyone else is he already fought Ilia and Gaethje. He need to fight a new blood. I agree with you with that one. That's what I just said. Fantastic. Staying off grid. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. You know what I mean? Hopefully you're not fucking your mother and your family members and your cousins, because you're the type to do incest. I bet you are. I bet you're the type to do incest, okay? Staying off grid. You need to stay off grid in general, okay? Because we don't need your kind outside in this world, all right? There's enough retards out here, honestly, okay? And get your ass off that couch, okay? Do something with your life. But yeah, guys, honestly, when it comes to that whole lightweight division, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. I mean, we're really talking about contenders for Ilia Topuria when everybody knows Arman Tsarukyan is definitely deserving to fight for the title. Okay? He's definitely deserving to fight for the title. And, I mean, the UFC is doing their fans a disservice because we all want to see it. We all want to see it. Okay? I honestly think Arman Tsarukyan will actually ragdog Ilia Topuria. That's my belief. I'm a girl. Thank you. Oh, that's what's up. That is what's up. But yeah, guys, what do you guys think about Bryan Battles getting cut by the UFC due to not making weight and having weight issues? Let me know on the chat. Do you think Bryan Battles actually makes his way back to the UFC, or do you think Bryan Battles actually, fights in other organizations, makes a career in other organizations, and becomes successful without even coming back to the UFC? What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. Which is the most interesting division currently, according to you? Man. Well, I'll tell you what. The least interesting, in my opinion, I'll tell you the least. Okay, the least interesting right now, it must be that heavyweight division. That heavyweight division it has no life, guys. You gotta bring in the doctors. You gotta bring in the AED. You gotta bring in everybody, okay, to revive, okay, that heavyweight division. Okay, so that's the least entertaining. And the most entertaining, let me see. I'll say probably the middleweight division right now, just because of what just happened this weekend. I think the middleweight division is most exciting right now just because they have a guy there who's a champion that's going to be so dominant moving in the future. And we have so many new competitors in that division that, honestly, the UFC is doing a small little tournament with Reina de Ritter, Anthony Hernandez, Imrov, and Kaio. So I think the middleweight division right now is got some excitement, and it's definitely changed the landscape for the near future. That's for damn sure. Let me see. Olarezo says, I get it, but I don't think Max needs to fight that low. That's ranked 6'10". Max deserves top 5. Okay, SK, welcome back to your chat. Welcome back to your channel. Do you think BJJ has figured out what to do with wrestling? BBJ. Do you think BBJ has figured out what to do with wrestling? BBJ. Who's BBJ? SK. Who is BBJ? Alareza says once you lost your contract with the UFC, it's highly unlikely to gain it back. That's just the way it is with Dana. So you're saying Brian Battles would never come to the UFC again, huh? It's unfortunate. Brian Battles was a good fighter. He was an entertaining fighter where he did make weight and make it, you know, he made his way to the octagon. Unfortunately, you know, those fries and those chicken tenders that Jonathan, you know, saw him eating. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Now he's not in the UFC. And actually, I saw an interview with Brian Battles, and it seemed like he didn't even care. To be honest with you, they asked him, "What do you think? You know, what do you think is next for you? You know, in the future? You know, now that you know the UFC knows that you have weight issues, you're not making weight." And you know what Brian Battle said? He said, "Well, you know, whatever the UFC wants to do, I'm with it. You know, it doesn't really matter." I'm like, what? Oh my gosh, Brian Battles most likely didn't even want to be in the UFC. I mean, the way he was talking. Gondorf says, I think Max has a better chance against Ilya than Arman. Ilya would knock Arman out earlier than he did Holloway. You're fucking out of control, Gondorf. You are out of control, bro. You really think that Arman Tsarukyan will get knocked out by Ilya Topuria? It ain't happening, guys. You guys are sleeping at the wheel if you're thinking that's happening. All right, that's not happening, guys. Point blank, period. That is not happening. Ilya Topuria would not get knocked out. I mean, Ilya Topuria would not knock out Arman Tsarukyan. Okay, I'll put my last dollar on it. Okay, we could bet on it, Gondorf. When that fight happens, you and I, hopefully you're still a part of the community and I see you in the chat, because you and I are going to go at it with bets. Okay, I will bet you anything that Ilya Topuria is not knocking out Arman, point blank, period. All right, it's not happening. Okay, Ilya Topuria will get out wrestled by Arman. I do see that happening. Okay, I do see Arman making it easy for himself. Okay, and taking down Ilya Topuria and just beating him to a pulp. Okay, that is my opinion on that fight. He is a larger man, the bigger man, the stronger man. Okay, I don't like when one guy is levels ahead of other fighters in the division. I want uncertainty in fights. I can't see anyone beating Chimaev. I wanted DDP to win. Well, you know, look, a lot of people wanted DDP to win. A lot of people wanted DDP to win, but unfortunately he didn't. And I called it. Go watch my UFC fight prediction fights. I knew that was going to happen. I knew what I was looking at. Okay? My eyes, they don't lie. All right? I done did said DDP is the 2.0 version of Keith Jardine. Okay? Point blank, period. And unfortunately, that version of DDP is light years away. Light years away from Chimaev. Okay? And I enjoyed it. I honestly did. Gondorf says, brother, if Max Holloway has one fan left, his name is Gondorf. If Holloway has 0 fans left, then Gondorf is dead. I like Max Holloway. I still think Max Holloway is a great mixed martial arts fighter. I wouldn't say I'm a freaking, you know, crazy fan here. You know what I mean? But I like Max Holloway. I like him. I like him as a mixed martial arts fighter. I like him as a competitor. But I call it straight. I'm not going to BS you guys. I'm definitely not going to bullshit this community. All right? Point blank, period. So I'm just calling it straight. I'm calling it like I see it. And unfortunately, Ilya Topuria would knock out Max quicker in the lightweight division than he did in the featherweight division. Point blank, period. Okay? Facts. Guys, Ilya KO's Max, who haven't been KO'd like in his whole life. Arman has been dropped, but he can use his wrestling. I like Arman. I like Arman. I like his abilities, and he has the perfect resume, the perfect style to beat Ilya Topuria. Okay? I understand that Ilya Topuria, he's on this crazy run that he's knocking out everybody. All right? He's knocking out everybody. I do understand that. And I'm not going to make any excuses about it. I'm really not. Okay, he knocked out Volk after Volk got knocked out to Islam. Okay, so that's one excuse I just made there. Okay, okay. Ilia Topuria then knocks out Max Holloway. Wow, he knocks out Max Holloway after Max Holloway was in the lightweight division. Okay, and then had to shed his body and his skin to make featherweight division. And then he knocks out Max Holloway, which Max Holloway has never been knocked out. Okay, which tells me that weight cut for Max Holloway was significantly different. All right, that's another excuse I'm gonna make. And then the third excuse I'm gonna make is by the time Charles Oliveira fought Ilia Topuria, that was not the same Charles Oliveira that we saw as a champion, guys. Point blank, period. That was an older Charles Oliveira. Okay? That was a Charles Oliveira that is out of his prime. So for me, I'm still not sold on Ilia Topuria. Do I like his style? Do I like him as a mixed martial arts fighter? Of course. But am I sold at the fact that he's the number one pound for pound? No way. No way. Okay? Yo, hello, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Lucija, I can't pronounce it, but Lucija, welcome back to your chat. Welcome back to your channel. All right, haven't seen you in a while. How you doing? How you been? Let me read some of these comments. Ilia is good grappler. He out grapples Charles. If it was brief, I know. Ilia is the best grappler besides Arman in the lightweight division. Ilia will find Arman's chin. I don't see that happening. I don't see him finding Arman's chin. I'm sorry. Don't forget, Arman almost got submitted by Oliveira. Oliveira had his tongue out and everything. Okay, I understand that. But you know what? You know what a submission is? A submission is when you finish a person. You know what almost a submission is? It means you didn't finish. Okay? So almost getting a submission doesn't even count. So you bringing up that the fact that Arman almost got submitted by Charles Oliveira and he had his tongue out like Michael Jordan. Guys, don't try to feed me that bullshit. Okay? Because in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or in Jiu-Jitsu in general, almost submitting someone, that don't mean shit. That don't mean anything. That means you lost. If you almost submitted your opponent. Yeah, I almost submitted my opponent, but I lost. Yeah, I almost submitted him, though. The fuck is that? Goldolf said, Alareza says, agreed. You guys are agreeing for the wrong things. I'll tell you that much. Goldolf says, that was literally Arman's last fight. You can name me as Lucy. All right, Lucy. I'll thank you so much. That's actually easier to say. That's actually easier to say. Thank you. Goldolf says you trolling. I'm not trolling, guys. I'm dead serious. Almost getting a submission is not getting a submission, which means why are you bringing it up at all? I would never walk into a gym and be like, yeah, I almost submitted, Demetrius Johnson. Almost, guys. I almost submitted him, guys. Like, why would I even bring that up? People are gonna look at you like a jackass. Like, what? What? I can tell you're not a mixed martial arts fighter, or you haven't even trained mixed martial arts in general. If you're bringing up almost submitting someone, okay, that is just, you know what? Turn around, get out of my gym. That's exactly what they would say to you. Okay, almost. The fuck? I can't believe this. Arman only escaped the submission because of his shorts. You guys. Man, you guys love living in the past. Let me tell you that much. Okay, you guys love living in the past. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. If I was Arman, I was scheduled to fight Ilia. I would try to just stay on the back and win point. And if he defended the takedown, I would try to use my kicking. I don't know. In my opinion, I think Arman can win by doing anything. I think, a game plan for Arman is you're going to have to push Ilia Topuria towards the fence. Push him towards the fence, have him on that back foot. And then once you push him towards the fence, get wrist control. Okay, get wrist control, keep him on the fence, and use that dirty boxing. Use some dirty boxing. Use some Greco-Roman wrestling as well. All right, make Ilia Topuria work in that first round. You know what I mean? Even if you don't take him down, attempt to take him down. Make him work. Make those arms, all right, work. So by the second and third round, we're gonna see if Ilia Topuria still has power in those hands. Okay, I think that's the best strategy for Arman Tsarukyan. Close the distance, get him across the fence, get wrist control, land some dirty boxing, make him work, use some Greco-Roman. Okay, but he has to close that distance. Goldall says, bruh, I'm bringing it up to compare apples to apples. Oliveira was evenly matched with Arman on the ground. Ilia was better than Oliveira on the ground. So Ilia versus Arman. You know what, man? I'm gonna try to understand. You know what I mean? What you just read, what I just read there. I'm gonna try to understand it. Okay. I'm gonna pretend like I just understood what you just said. Right? Because, in all honesty, I don't understand it, man. I don't understand a word that you're saying. Actually, Ilia Topuria is better than Charles Oliveira on the ground. Where the fuck did you get that data? Can you fucking let me know where did you get that data, please? Because according to me, when you look at Charles Oliveira's record, he has the most submissions in the UFC, arguably. Okay. Ilia Topuria doesn't even have as many submission finishes than Charles Oliveira. So to say that Ilia Topuria is better on the ground and at submitting people than Charles Oliveira, I can't. I don't fucking know where you're getting this data, my buddy. Okay, where are you getting this data? Please, I just want to know. You know what I mean? Are you making this up on the top of your head? Because if you are, be honest. Okay. What the fuck? They just fought and Ilia had him on in a crucifix. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What? What? What did you? I'm gonna. Okay. Oh, guys, I'm moving on from that. I'm moving on from that. I'm gonna move on from that. Okay. I'm gonna move on from that because you know what? It's an argument that I'm not willing to argue with. Okay. I don't even want to argue about it. I don't want to argue about it anymore. All right. Point blank. Period. I still think. I still think. Ilia Topuria should fight Arman. I think Arman has a good chance to beat Ilia Topuria. Now going to the back, going back to the topic at hand. When it comes to Bryan Battles, it's unfortunate. Will he get a chance to come back to the UFC? I have no idea. Unless the UFC has an Ultimate Fighter, where, they're gonna bring past fighters that are no longer in the UFC. Maybe that could happen. Because remember, guys, Joseph Morales, I believe that's his name. Joseph Morales, the guy who just won the show, the Ultimate Fighter show this season for the flyweight division. He used to be in the UFC, and then he found himself out of the UFC. And the way he got back to the UFC was actually by winning the show. So maybe Bryan Battles can do the same thing, but I have no idea, guys. I have no idea. When it comes to Bryan Battles, I wish him the best. You tripping type tripping. Do you think Ilia Topuria would transfer into 170? I do think so. You know what I mean? That's one thing that stays with you is your ability to have power. You know what I mean? So I do think the power would transfer really well for Ilia Topuria. But here's the thing, though. A lot of those guys in the welterweight division, they're not gonna fight Ilia Topuria where he's most comfortable. You know what I mean? Especially, after what people saw Chimaev do to DDP. I mean, in my opinion, I think Ilya Topuria could find some success in the welterweight division. Does he become, the welterweight champion in the future? That's hard, man. That's hard for me to predict right now. Especially after what I just said, after all the things that I just brought up. You know what I mean? I mean, like I said, he beat Volk arguably right after he got knocked out by Islam. He beat Max right after Max had that big weight cut in lightweight division, or from the lightweight division. And then he beat Charles Oliveira when Charles Oliveira was out of his prime. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm not sold on Ilya Topuria. I'm just not yet. I got to see a little bit more. I have to see a little bit more. I have to see somebody who's in their prime, all right, who's not coming off of getting knocked out, and who's actually in their right division, right, in their right respective division, to actually compete against Ilya Topuria. And I think that's the guy. I think Arman Tsarukyan is the guy. That welterweight division is stacked though. You know what I mean? JDM, Islam. I mean, that's gonna be a terrific fight in November. That's booked for November 15th. I will be watching that one. His power is 100% transfers, but his frame is too small. That's a good point. That's a good point. He could get some KOs for sure, but JDM will pick him apart from the outside. Yeah, I could see I could see why you're saying that. I could see why you're saying that. You know, where JDM picks him apart from the outside and uses his distance. But Ilya Topuria does a good job of closing the distance and landing that punch that he wants to land. You know what I mean? So Ilya Topuria can find success. He can, but it's easier said than done, man. That welterweight division is different. It just is, Dude, I am trying to make sense of him saying he want to be 170 champ, but it's really like guys like Ian Gary and Shavkat just outpower him on the ground. Yeah, he doesn't have the frame. Well, I understand what you're saying, but guys, I mean, look at Shavkat. Shavkat, he's been out of the UFC for a while now. That guy is a walking clinic. I'm just being honest. That guy is a walking clinic. He gets injured literally every week. Shavkat can't even make it to the octagon. I have no faith in him. And when it comes to Ian Gary, I like Ian Gary. He's a high competitor. You know what I mean? He has some abilities on the ground. He really does. Great Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And he has a lot of abilities on stand-up as well. But I don't know. We shall see. He's definitely way, taller than Ilya Topuria. That's for damn sure. Ilya Topuria will be outsized in that welterweight division. But guys, like and subscribe if you are new to the channel, okay? It takes minimal effort to give me the thumbs up, so you might as well do it, guys. Support the community, guys. Okay, run up the likes, run up the subscriptions. Do me the favor. Please and thank you. Well, I didn't know about his injuries. Heck yeah, Shavkat. Shavkat gets injured. When it comes to Shavkat gets injured, I mean, twice a year, guys. Twice a year that guy gets injured. He cannot make it to the octagon. That's the reason why it's been such a long time since we've seen Shavkat in the octagon, guys. He gets injury after injury after injury after injury. I don't know who the fuck is training with Shavkat or who are his coaches, okay? Because if I'm them, I'm keeping this guy away from anyone, okay? I need you to train with dummies, literal dummies that don't even hit you back, okay? We need to keep you safe. All right, we're going to put you in a rubber bodysuit just to make sure that you don't get injured. Okay, my guy? Craziness is going on out there, man. When it comes to Shavkat, I mean, he's a great mixed martial arts fighter, undefeated, okay? Great record, but he just cannot stay healthy. He cannot stay healthy, man. Shavkat versus Chimaev will be legendary, though. You're out of control, guy. Okay, you're out of control. Chimaev would ragdoll him and injure him into submission, okay? He would injure him into submission, guys. All right? Shavkat didn't even finish Ian Gary, okay? Shavkat didn't even finish Ian Gary. Think about that, guys. All right? And if you think Shavkat can compete against Chimaev, guys, you're sleeping at the wheel, okay? Like I said, Shavkat couldn't even finish Ian Gary. Ian Gary couldn't even finish MVP. All right? Do you think MVP will beat Chimaev? Hell no. He'll get taken down and submitted fairly quickly, which, in my opinion, if Ian Gary fought Chimaev, Chimaev would submit him as well, very quickly. Okay? Same story with Shavkat. Maybe just a little bit different because it will be one takedown away from Shavkat blowing out his other knee. Okay? The guy is injury prone. Unbelievable. August, welcome back to your channel. Welcome back to your chat. How you doing, man? How you been? My man, what's up with it? Well, today we've been talking about Bryan Battles, guys. All right, topic of discussion was Bryan Battles, but we're 45 minutes in, so we're talking about whatever it is you want to talk about. It doesn't have to be mixed martial arts related, rapid fire, but you know the topic of discussion was Bryan Battles, and him being cut by the UFC is unfortunate. You know, after Jonathan, you know, a longtime supporter in this community, he gave us the inside scoop that he saw Bryan Battles eating like an animal, and that's why he was having weight issues and he couldn't cut the weight for UFC 319, and now he finds himself kicked out of the UFC at Lemonade. Okay, sad story for Bryan Battles. Hopefully he can make his way back to the UFC, but guys, easier said than done because Bryan Battles has a fight that he hasn't won since he was about 12 years old, and that's against food. Okay, all right. Yeah, Shavkat would get ragdolled, but it was an interesting matchup in the early career of both of them, not now. I agree. I agree with you. I agree with you when you make that statement. In the past, it would have been a good fight, but now where Chimaev stands as a champion, I don't see it happening. We're not going to see Chimaev till 2026, guys. We are not going to see Chimaev till 2026. He's not going to fight again. And the reason why I say that is because if Chimaev himself came to the UFC and came to Dana White and said, look, guys, I want to fight this October. I beat DDP easily. Okay? I just wanted to guarantee that, you know, I get the win, I get the belt, and I wanted to guarantee as well that I wanted to dominate DDP. I wanted to show everybody that what domination really looks like. All right? And I dominated him. I'm unscathed. I'm not injured. Put me on that Abu Dhabi card in October. And the UFC and Dana White didn't oblige. So in my opinion, they're keeping Chimaev safe. I honestly think they don't want to lose Chimaev as a champion. Okay? After what happened at UFC 319, guys, UFC 319 had a buzz like no other. That press conference was, guys, I haven't seen a press conference that lit since Conor McGregor. I'm just being honest. All right? The weigh-in show for UFC 319, it was lit as well. Okay? Chicago was buzzing. The whole internet was buzzing. Look at the embeddeds. Look at the UFC countdown shows. All of those videos have over 1 million, 2 million views. Chimaev is a star, and the UFC knows that. Okay? So I know for a fact, now that Chimaev is a champion, and now he is the face of the UFC, I don't think the UFC wants to take a chance of Chimaev losing in 2025. I think they want to guarantee, you know, that they have the face of the UFC, which is Chimaev, compete in 2026 for that new, you know, that new deal with Paramount. I do believe Chimaev will be put on that very first card and headline that very first card for that Paramount deal. Okay, so that's most likely why they didn't book him for that Abu Dhabi card. Because they're going to ice him, they're going to save him, and they're going to save him for 2026 for that Paramount deal. Very first card Paramount puts on, Chimaev will be the headliner. Mark my words, okay? Mark my words. All right? I know how the business goes now. I know how the business goes. All right? And let me tell you something. If the UFC lose Chimaev as a champion, woo! That would not be a good thing. That would not be a good thing. Okay? So they're definitely going to save him for 2026 for that new Paramount deal. Guarantee it. Facts, guys. But yeah, guys. We have a hell of a Saturday ahead of us. Okay, a lot of people are not talking about, you know, this Zhang Ming Yang. All right, not a lot of people are talking about Zhang Ming Yang versus Johnny Walker. I think that's a good headliner. It's going to be a fun fight. I did pick Zhang Ming Yang to actually beat Johnny Walker. I just have no faith in Johnny Walker anymore. All right, he didn't live up to the hype back in the day. Everybody thought Johnny Walker was actually going to compete and beat John Jones. The undefeated John Jones. Unbelievable how people talk. You know what I mean? It's crazy. You know what I mean? Um, and another fight that a lot of people are not talking about is Aljamain Sterling versus Brian Ortega. That's going to be a fun fight, guys. Brian Ortega and Aljamain Sterling. Honestly, that could be a headliner. You know what I mean? Yeah, Brian Ortega is not the same Brian Ortega that he used to be. I am aware of that. But man, they have similar skills. Aljamain Sterling likes to use his grappling. Brian Ortega has great grappling, great Brazilian jiu-jitsu. On paper, it looks like a fun fight. It really does. So I am excited to watch that one. I'm gonna be watching that one with a keen eye, really. But I did pick Aljamain Sterling to beat Brian Ortega. I did. Let me read some of these comments. I think Zhang would win because he got good KO power and we all know Johnny Walker's chin, guys. We all know Johnny Walker's chin, guys. It's unfortunate. Like I said, he never lived up to the hype. He never lived up to the hype. It's a sad story, guys. Mustard, welcome back to your chat. Welcome back to your channel. How you doing, Mustard? How you been? Like and subscribe, guys, if you are new to the channel. All right, support the community. Excuse me. Chimaev making welterweight again in itself would be legendary. Not happening though. Yeah, I don't think the UFC are gonna let Chimaev go down to welterweight. I don't think they're gonna let that happen. I think they're gonna let all the divisions settle themselves. All right, we still got that November 15th fight between Islam versus JDM. So I know for a fact the UFC is waiting patiently for that one. And I think that's how it's going to happen. I don't think we're going to have, double champs, triple champs anytime soon. I think the UFC is going to want their champions to fight multiple times in that division before they actually move up and fight anybody for any other belt. Okay. Let me see. Ortega versus Sterling is more close than people think. Both a bit past their prime. Both great wrestlers. I do agree. That's what I just mentioned too. That's what I did mention. You know, Brian Ortega is definitely not what he used to be. All right, because in my opinion, he's a dead body walking in a cemetery. Unfortunately. Now, when it comes to Aljamain Sterling, I mean, look, Aljamain Sterling. I don't want to say he's past his prime. I don't want to say that just yet because even in his last fight, arguably he won that fight. That could have been a split decision for Aljamain Sterling, and I would have never been mad. I'm just being honest. Okay. So when it comes to Aljamain Sterling, I mean, if he beats Brian Ortega, he puts himself in a good position. In that division. Okay. Mustard says people sleeping on Sterling heavily. People forget how good his wins were. Mustard, I agree with you. Mustard, BB but Peter Yan, he lost. Cope, get over it. Yeah, he did. He beat Peter Yan. Fantastic fight, by the way. Fantastic fight. But yeah, guys, that is about it. That is about it for the topic of discussion today. Brian Battles will not be in the UFC. He has been cut, unfortunately, because of his issues with, food. He's lost that battle once again. And when it comes to Reina de Ritter and Anthony Hernandez, I'm actually excited for this UFC Fight Night Vancouver. A lot of implications in that middleweight division. I have no faith in Anthony Hernandez, to be honest with you. I did mention that Anthony Hernandez lost to Kevin Holland. So if you're losing against dead bodies like Kevin Holland, I have no faith in you. And when it comes to Caio, I have no faith in Caio either. I honestly think Imavov is going to beat Caio. I like Caio. I like that whole nerd, training camp. I like that whole camp. They're awesome. Carlos Prates is an up-and-comer. I did said he's a future champion. But when it comes to Caio, guys, Caio's best win is Jared Cannonier. I'm sorry. Imavov knocked out, Izzy. So, I mean, that speaks for itself, guys. Okay, that speaks for itself. Mustard says, and I say that as someone who loves Peter Yan, he should be fighting Merab. Undeserved Sandhagen fight. Mustard, I agree with you. I agree with you. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, the fight that we should have seen right now, it should have been Sandhagen versus Sean O'Malley. That's the fight everybody wants to see. That's the fight that everybody is excited, and they will be willing to pull out their wallets to fight to see Sandhagen fight Sean O'Malley. Okay? Point blank period. But unfortunately, the UFC, you know how they do things. All right? You know how Sean Shelby and Mick Maynard do things. All right? You know how they do it. You know, they like to shit on their fans. They're no Joe Silva. Okay, Joe Silva. Oh, 2015, 2016. Oh my gosh. When you retired, I nearly went down on my knees and shedded a tear. Okay? Because I knew Sean Shelby and Mick Maynard, they were not. Oh my gosh. You already know, guys. You already know. Kyle is good, but Imorov is highly dangerous everywhere. Mustard, I agree with you. That's why I just made my statement. That's why I just made my... Gino, back on the chat, back on the channel. How you doing? Welcome back to your channel. Welcome back to your chat. Gino, let me read what you just read. Guys, like and subscribe. Okay, give me the like. Run up those likes. Run up the subscriptions. Run up the shares. Support the community. Come on now. Gino says, I did some research, and I think there are two fighters at the moment who will defeat Chimaev, and that is Islam Makhachev and Ankalaev. Gino, those are two people that are not even in the middleweight division, okay? So I don't see those guys beating Chimaev anytime soon, okay? Anytime soon. In the middleweight, Chimaev is unmatched, but if he goes down, Islam will win him. If he goes up, there might be more than one that can defeat him. Gino, I like your enthusiasm, okay? Gino, I love your enthusiasm. I love you being a part of this community, all right? But I'm going to call it like I call it. Gino, look, you're sleeping at the wheel, Gino, okay? You really think that Chimaev will lose against either of those guys? I don't know about that, guy. I don't know about that. But, hey, I like your enthusiasm. I don't want people to say about Izzy, yes, he was. I don't want people about Izzy, yes, he was coming out from a loss, but KOing Izzy is no joke. I think I understood what you just read there. I think I understood it, okay? But it was all over the place. It was all over the place, but at the very end, I think I got the gist. Yes, Imorov is very, very impressive, and that knockout of Izzy was very, very impressive as well, okay? Mustard says, high key, they're protecting O'Malley hard. I believe they rather him get subbed or wrestled than knocked out because he loses his striking aura every though Corey probably chins him. Mustard, that's my point exactly. My point exactly, Mustard. Okay? The fight to make was Sandhagen versus Sean O'Malley. Unfortunately, Sean O'Malley does not want that fight. He knows for a fact that technically Sandhagen is a way better striker than Sean O'Malley, and he will be able to prove it that night if Sean O'Malley would step in the octagon with Corey Sandhagen. I guarantee Sandhagen KOs Sean O'Malley if they ever fall. That's the reason why UFC is keeping them away from each other. Okay? Facts. Okay, Mustard? I agree with you. Good to be back, homie. You already know, Gino. You already know. I think Imorov and RDR are the only hope against Chimaev. I agree with you, but when it comes to RDR, I don't see RDR beating Chimaev either, guys. Okay, I actually see finishes. I see finishes in Chimaev's future. Okay. Gino says, I'm afraid nobody can beat Chimaev, but in my heart, if there is somebody who is destined to win him, that will be DDP. Gino, stop it. Stop it. You and I both know, Gino, that you do not believe that. Okay, Gino, this flower can beat DDP at this point, okay? You know for a fact DDP has no chance of beating Chimaev. Come on now. Let's be real. Sandhagen not only is better striker, but he's also got more dog in him. I believe that too. I believe that as well too. I want MVP to fight Sean Strickland. I would love that fight. Gino, that's a good fight. Gino, that's a really good fight. MVP versus Sean Strickland. Unfortunately, Sean Strickland can't fight for 6 months due to his stupidity. His stupidity. Okay? He can't fight for about 6 months. He's suspended. So that's unfortunate. I think MVP will be booked against Carlos Prates, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see. Mustard says Strickland is cooked, bro. When he returns after he has his year off, he's gonna be a dead body. I agree with you, Mustard. I don't like Sean Strickland at all. I don't like his style. I don't like anything about Sean Strickland, to be honest with you. I think Sean Strickland is a dead body at this point. He's always been a dead body. All right, in my opinion, he got lucky in that Izzy fight. Okay, and ever since that Izzy fight, everybody, Sean Strickland is like, oh yeah, I'm a high contender. When in reality, he's not. Okay, he is not. Fucking Strickland talking about that he can out wrestle Chimaev. This guy is like retarded, literally. Mustard says Strickland by praying the jab and teep work. That's not even a style. You know what I mean? Like anybody can do that. Anybody can jab 1,000 times. You know what I mean? In 5 rounds, guys. Okay. When it comes to Strickland, the guy has no power in his hands, and Strickland, I mean, he's Strickland. He's just a retard. Gino, LOL, I'm South African. Me and DDP are the same. Chimaev embarrassed our entire country. DDP walks in our streets as a national hero, so his pretty embarrassed have not even came home yet. Damn, Gino. Thank you for giving me the inside scoop. So you're Gino, you're telling me DDP hasn't even gone home yet? He hasn't even gone outside? Man, talk about the cope. Mustard says Strickland submits Chimaev by jab and teep. Oh my gosh. Gino says, but remember, DDP was not even hurt after that domination. Bear that in mind. Are you sure that he wasn't hurt? Because in my opinion, the worst thing you could do to a fighter is hurt his ego and hurt his emotion. Okay? Because now DDP understands that he's nowhere near Chimaev. And I think that sits in your mind even worse than getting just KO'd. Okay? Because he got dominated. So that shouldn't sit well with DDP at all. DDP still has a good run in him, even if he doesn't win to be again. But again, don't give up on my boy. Mustard, I agree with you. I hear you. I think DDP can compete at a high level in the middleweight division. I just don't see DDP beating Chimaev. Point blank, period. He's too far. He is too far to actually compete against Chimaev. When it comes to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and his wrestling, not even close, guys. Not even close. DDP couldn't even get Chimaev back in his guard, guys. I've never seen a champion not understand ground game to the point where you can't put your opponent back in your guard to keep yourself safe. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. No, I'm saying he's still in Chicago. Damn, DDP. DDP is still in Chicago, Gino. DDP is still in Chicago. He has not even come back home. He is still coping, unfortunately, which tells me that he's definitely hurt. I think DDP will kind of become a bit of a Gaethje, though. He fights possible contenders and has fun fights like a guard dog of the division a bit. Yeah, I can see that happening. I can see that happening, unfortunately, and that's not a good place to be for DDP, in my opinion. But to each their own. To each their own. According to DDP's coach, DDP only has to fight one more time and then compete against Chimaev. If I'm DDP, I'm firing him. I'm firing that son of a bitch coach. Because that must be the most retard statement I ever heard in my life. His ego is probably hurt, but like I'm saying, in a rematch, how do you see it working out? Your honest opinion. Gino, look. Gino, come on. Gino, look. Let's not bullshit this, guys. Let's not BS this situation here. Okay? Let's not BS this situation here. Gino, if DDP fought against Chimaev again today or next week or a month from now or a year from now, it doesn't matter when it happens, man. DDP gets beat even worse than the first fight. Because now Chimaev understands that you can't do anything against my wrestling. And it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time, guys, that Chimaev actually submits DDP. Okay? I think DDP gets submitted, ragdolled once again. Send DDP 2 to 3. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me read Gino. Gino says, if DDP drank his favorite beer before the fight, maybe he would have had a better fight. Maybe, Gino, but I don't even think that would have helped, okay? Send DDP 2 to 3 years, hyperbolic time chamber, and forget. Even then, even if he was training with Vegeta and Goku and Gohan, I still don't think DDP would have came back and beat Chimaev, unfortunately. Gino says, yes, he needs to fight one more time. I agree with the coach. Gino, you're out of control. Gino, you're out of control. So you think he needs to come back, fight one more time, and then fight Chimaev? That is out of control. He is light years away of Chimaev. Chimaev will beat him to a pulp once again, guys. Okay? I don't want to see that fight. I hope DDP understands that I do not want to see that fight. Hello. How you doing, Mayo? Welcome back to your channel. Welcome back to your chat. How you doing? Hopefully you're having a good one. All right. I honestly think the reason Chimaev even took him to 5 rounds to prove he had cardio, he easily could have ran through DDP even worse. Mustard, I agree with you. Honestly, I think that's the reason why he went all 5 rounds, so he can prove to everybody that he could dominate somebody and not gas out in the same time. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Gino says, then give DDP a few senso beans. You're out of control. You're out of control. Okay? And that definitely won't help him either. Who's DDP? Dricus Duplessis. That's DDP. But yeah, guys, I'm not sure. I'm not sure who's gonna fight Chimaev next. I'm not even sure who's gonna beat Chimaev next. To be honest with you, I honestly think he reigns that division for a very long time. And like I said, excuse me, Reina Derrida versus Anthony Hernandez. I think RDR has that fight. Anthony Hernandez losing against dead bodies of Kevin Harlan. Had no faith in Anthony Hernandez. And when it comes to Caio, I had no faith in him. His best win is Jared Cannonier. And unfortunately, Emerald is going to beat Caio. That's my opinion on that one. And guys, Brian Battles finds himself out of the UFC, unfortunately, due to his weight issues and eating too many chicken fingers and fries in UFC 319 in Chicago. All right, we got the inside scoop fight from Jonathan. I appreciate him. But guys, like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. It takes minimal effort to give me the thumbs up, so you might as well do it. Thank you for supporting independent MMA media, guys. And like I always say, this is your channel, the only channel where the fans come first, not last. Guys, I'll most likely be live either tonight or tomorrow morning, so stay tuned for that. And I will definitely be going live for this Saturday event, headlined by Johnny Walker and Xing Meng Yang over there in China. All right, so hopefully I see you guys on the chat. And yeah, you guys have a good one, guys. Until next time, peace, bless.